Hi everyone. Thank you, Matt. So, I'd like to welcome everyone today. Hopefully it will give you food for thought. So, firstly, an apology. I always say don't start with an apology, but I'm going to. The dress code here at Chester isn't necessarily one that I approve of. This is the last time I wore a tie, which is 7 years ago at my dad's wedding. So if anyone else has had to go buy a tie, I apologise. For those who don't know me, I'm the CEO of MyMobileWorkers and have spent the last decade trying reasonably successfully to predict how technology is driving companies and how companies work with their employees and customers. And when not working, I can mainly be found rowing. Talking about rowing, supporting my son rowing, who is quite good, and competing myself, and I'm really not very good, unfortunately. Yeah, as you can tell by the different timing across that boat. So, moving on to MyMobileWorkers. For those who don't know us, we're a leading mobile workforce management solution. There's over 100 customers using our software, 5,000 users, and we process about 250,000 jobs each month using the system. And whilst the solution is generic across all sectors really, we've found that over the last 18 months it fits highways extremely well. And we've started to create specific features for the sector and have seen a rapid uptake of our solution across highways and TM companies, some of whom are with us today. So, highways and highways growth. As a sector, highways is one of the few that is forecast to carry on growing strongly across the next 5 or 10 years. And it's one of the sectors that experts predict will not be massively affected by the type of Brexit that happens. And that is the only time today that I'm going to mention Brexit. This growth will have to support an expected 3% increase in vehicles on the road each year between now and 2030, and that's a 45% growth across just over a decade. Technology is looking to improve infrastructure availability with longer lasting materials to reduce wear and tear, trials to support wireless charging for electrical vehicles, which is pioneered in Milton Keynes, and solar heated roads to melt snow and ice, keeping the road network without winter maintenance. These technologies are becoming reality, and with the exponential growth and the exponential rate of change occurring across all sectors, we can expect that these and more innovations will continue to seep into the sector over the next few years. However, no matter how good the technological advance in the infrastructure itself, the sector will also always have a requirement for TM. And with more roads and vehicles, TM is expected to grow significantly over this time. The growth in the sector is matched by the expectation of everyone involved. Customers expect real-time information on their project. TM companies expect greater revenues and profits. The workforce expect to be treated as the valuable resource they are. And Joe Public expects perfect roads with no impact on their daily routine. Failure to meet these expectations will severely impact TM companies' ability to win new business, keep existing business, and ultimately survive. So, with expectations growing, the bottom line is that companies will have to evolve or die. People expect things today that they didn't expect 5 years ago. There's no reason to believe that this won't continue at the same pace in the next 5 years. Paper is no longer an option, real-time information a must, an open and transparent process and expectation and not following process could be the difference between life and death, both figuratively and literally in this sector. Companies who do not provide this level of information today will fall by the wayside over the coming years, with loyalty to a provider meaning less than it did at any point in history. All of these things are expectations now. If people haven't lost customers because they don't provide these things, they will do so very quickly. However, this event isn't about what we can do now. What's going to make the difference 3, 5 years from now. So we have the three pillars. The three pillars of any business are the customers, the company, and the workforce. If you can't meet the expectations of these three pillars, you will struggle. If you don't provide the information your customers need, they will go somewhere else. If the company doesn't make a return for investors or stakeholders, it won't survive. If your workforce aren't happy, they'll go elsewhere. We believe that whatever the future holds will ultimately have to be aligned with improving these three pillars of a viable business. That being the case, we picked three areas as we see as key to improving and revolutionising these areas over the short and medium term. One for each of the customer, company and workforce. All three have the common thread of big data. So if there's one thing I want you to take away from today, it's big data. So, big data definition. Definition, I'll let you read it yourself. Extremely large data sets that can be analysed computationally to reveal patterns, trends and associations, especially relating to human behaviour and interactions. So examples of how this can be used can be seen in healthcare, so whether to preventatively use statin or not. Transportation, real-time traffic information collated by Google Maps, or in finance, so the analysis of markets to offset risk. Big data is, in my view, the primary reason why creating your own solution is not sensible. As a provider in this market, we come across this a reasonable amount. Companies think it will be better to create their own solution which fits them perfectly. Whilst it might seem perfectly sensible, there are many compelling reasons not to do it. Cost of development, cost of support infrastructure, immediately becoming a legacy solution. And on top of this, I would add big data. If you have a group of, say, 100 users doing 50,000 jobs a year, you have a very limited set of data to analyse. If my prediction for where things are going is right, a solution that you create yourself will become a millstone. We have, and will have, access to thousands or tens of thousands of users doing tens of millions of jobs, collecting data throughout this process. The data set compared to that of a bespoke solution is gigantic. And just in case we have any GDPR fans in the room, everything that I'm about to talk about is allowed within the GDPR regulations. So, how do I envisage this will affect the three pillars that we mentioned above? Customers, company and workforce. So customers. Customers expect exceptional service. If you don't provide it, they'll find someone who can. MyMobileWorkers already allows real-time reporting of jobs direct to customers, meaning that they can see the outcome of the job as soon as it happens. This provision of management information already allows for exceptional service. So how do we envisage this improving? I'm a great believer that you can never have too much information and too much communication. If the customer is getting too much information and is being communicated with too much, they can simply filter it out if they feel it necessary. Over the last few years, this has gone from getting information days or weeks after the event, when people use paper, to having access to the information as soon as the job is completed. And even giving that access to their customers in real time. So in the future, we're expecting to be able to take this reactive information after the event a step further and start to provide proactive information to you and your customers with predicted outcomes based on all the information available throughout our entire data set. So, using historical data kept in the system, we can predict any possible trends, potential trends with future jobs. This could be based on location information, type of job, crew combination, weather prediction, traffic conditions. So by way of some examples, the last time we had freezing weather conditions, what was the average impact on job duration or cancellation across the entire data set? With that information, you can better plan your requirements before they happen. Based on all the jobs done in West Wales in the summer months, what was the average impact of travel time to a job? The impact of adding or removing a user from a job. There's always a diminishing return on adding more people to a job. Larger data sets can show you that impact more clearly. This proactive management information will start to allow you to see potential issues before they happen, with the knock-on effect of better setting expectations and report as required to your customers. So, company. It goes without saying that as a business your aim is to make money. In order to do this, you have to maximise your asset utilisation, both equipment and workforce. This resource planning can make the difference between making money on a job and losing money. If you can squeeze another couple of jobs out of your workforce, or not have to hire additional equipment, make better use of high value equipment, then it all hits the bottom line. Resource planning is therefore key to maximising value. MyMobileWorkers has just started to roll out a resource planner to allow planners to take these things into account. However, the complexities involved make automating this process complex. Working hours, overtime, holidays, sickness, servicing, overruns from previous jobs, all means that it can be exceedingly complicated. We envisage building artificial intelligence into systems which allows for resource to continually be evaluated and recommendations made. In the short to medium term, we do not see this being fully automated. Computers find the human aspects difficult to factor into equations. For example, crew cohesion is important to productivity. A computer would be likely to separate crews based on distance to jobs, whereas a planner would know that keeping a crew together, or just as importantly separating them, would be more important in the short term than the efficiency of that next job. While we don't envisage removing the human from this process, we believe that over time there will be a higher proportion completed by computer, with the human element being reduced. So, workforce, the final one of the three. We feel that the biggest change to the sector will come from the workforce, and this is the area that I'm most excited about. Along with assets, your workforce are the largest cost to your business. Indeed, many companies in other sectors are seeing it as a fixed cost that isn't necessary. The gig economy is based on the removal of as many non-profitable areas of the business as possible as a fixed cost. So Uber is the ultimate example of this. They've taken the model of a taxi firm and removed the fixed cost of the workforce. They've removed the fixed cost of the assets, the vehicles themselves, from the core business, leaving just the profitable portion of the job which is taking a cut from the transportation of one person from A to B. This concept brings complexity of training, health and safety issues, and compliance. However, using software such as MyMobileWorkers covers most of these concerns. For example, it can keep a current list of training qualifications, making sure that only people with the right qualifications are sent to the right job. We can also make sure that jobs are completed with the relevant health and safety concerns addressed, and all jobs are carried out in compliance with the customer requirements. In the UK, 27% of people have classified themselves as being self-employed, many through the gig economy, with this figure doubling to 54% for those aged below 34. So it's highly likely that as this demographic works its way through, it becomes more prevalent that the workplace will be self-employed. In talking to our customers, finding the right people is one of the biggest challenges that they face. So we have two potential solutions. If the self-employed trend continues to grow, we have immediate access to thousands of mobile workers. We know their qualifications, we know where they are, We know when they're available. We know what other people think of them. If the self-employment trend doesn't continue, we know other companies like you who have employees available at the time that you need people available. Either way, this resource pot becomes available to you, allowing you to more easily flex your workflows up and down seamlessly. So, give an example of this. You plan your work for next week using the resource planner. It will identify holes. Because we have access to thousands of people and companies, we can, with company and workforce permission, obviously, identify resources with the right qualifications, who are available and within a close proximity, who can carry out work for you. We can also tell you whether those individuals are highly rated by their peers and other employers to make sure you get the quality that you want. So you'll have this growing pool of talent available to you, and we can put both parties together, and you can get in touch with each other to make that job work. This will revolutionise the recruitment process, saving significant time and revenue. Indeed, it could change the business model used by companies in the sector, depending on whether self-employment trend continues or not. It's also worth mentioning that this could be just as applicable to equipment, allowing the shared pool of vehicles, high-value assets, as well as your workforce. Excitingly, we expect the first iteration of this to be in MyMobileWorkers by the end of this year. So, to bring it to a conclusion, we see big data allowing companies to take more control through proactive analysis of information for customers, companies able to maximise revenue through artificial intelligence, analysis of their own assets, and revolutionising the recruitment process. Hopefully, that's given you some food for thought for the day. I hope you enjoy the rest of the day and the talks, and I'm looking forward to speaking to everyone throughout the day. Thank you.